two of the most important places that we can be together. And that part has been really fun. We've got a good group of guys. We've got obviously a bunch of half the team are freshmen, but the older guys have done a really good job showing these guys the way. But it's just been fun to really get back to normal.
I was going to ask you, how are those new pieces fitting in with the guys that have been here?
Like you would expect, they've all had good days. They've all had some days where they've been up and down, but the attitude has never wavered. They've all want to be coached. They are willing to learn, but they're finding out there's things with the game of basketball that they might have heard it, but they didn't understand the importance of it. They understanding how you've got to learn how to play when you're tired, learn how to execute, learn how to respond as opposed to reacting when things aren't going well. And but overall, they've been good. And like I said, they've all had good days. And some days, right now, yesterday was a different day for them in terms of the tempo, the speed of our practices and how we expect to move from one thing to the next. But overall, they've handled it really quite well.
How do you balance it? You've got several guys that have played a ton for you and been here several years, and then you have a lot of really talented young guys. How do you kind of balance it with those guys?
Well, the older guys have helped us because they know what culture we've created here. They know what are the pillars of our program, what's important, how things are done. And I think I'm being frank and honest if I tell you I think we've probably had the best leadership with our upperclassmen that we've had in a couple of years, where guys the guys that you talked about have been through some tough times, but yet they've had some good times, and they've done a really, really fine job of showing these younger guys what it's about in our program. They know we need the younger guys to grow up quick. Our schedule, I could talk to you about maybe are we overscheduled with this young group, but I do believe, and we do as a staff, that the more we can expose them to hard competition early, we think it'll help us grow up quicker. We certainly hope so. We hope we can obviously win some of those games. You can't win big games if you're not willing to schedule them and play them. But our older guys have really done a terrific job, and I expect them to continue to do that. And I think if you ask the younger guys what the older guys have meant to them, I think they would speak highly of them.
Rick, you've got a lot of new faces, and sometimes that can be difficult to build chemistry. But I also wondered, do you think from this perspective it might be easier because you're not dealing with all the COVID issues you had at the start of last year?
Well, I think when you talk about chemistry, I think it starts with, is there a genuine love and likeness for each other? I think that's where it starts. I mean, we all know that we all have individual goals that they want to reach. We have goals as that as a team, certainly, but when you're part of a team, you have to give up something of those. But yet we want them to be somewhat selfish in the fact that we want them to go after their individual goals, the work ethic, the commitment, the time that goes into this, knowing full well that they do that, it's going to make us a better team. But yet when you put all five guys together, now what do they have to do to make their role as important as the next guy's role? But with this group, and again, when you talk about chemistry, I do think it starts with a likeness for each other off the court. I think in terms of guys wanting to hang around, be together, pull for each other, help each other, because they all have good days, some bad days, some tough days. But I do know that this group likes each other. I know they like being together, and they would tell you to the man that a year ago was really hard, like when we've done some teams type things with them, whether it's going to paintball or something like that, they would tell you how good that feels to do those type things and how much they miss doing things together as a team in the past year. So that part of it, it's been fun.
Coach, just specifically your two freshman bigs, Brandon and Jonas, where are they at right now? How close do you think they are to be able to help?
Well, they've come a long way, both of them. I mean, certainly they go through the transition that I think most all and every freshman go through, understanding that it's a different level, it's a different speed to the game, different pace to the game. Total, in terms of detail, attention to detail, is at a higher level than you've ever dealt with in their life. And again, both of those guys have made strides. They both have had good days. Some of them, they've struggled at times too. But I think where we are right now, they're competing. and they have to compete against John Fulkerson and Olivier, guys that have been through Urosh, those guys. So that's helped them grow up a little bit too. And I think the fact that we have the depth that we have, the competition in practice has been good, which has helped them. But are they where we need them to be right now? No, they're not. But I think if they will maintain the attitude they've had up to this point, they'll get there.
Rick, do you consider Justin to be in that veteran category or that kind of freshman category?
Well, both, sort of, kind of, and that's not trying to avoid the question. I mean, Justin, really, if you think about it, he's about as true a freshman as they are because he only played, I think, 5 games and was out, and so he didn't really get a full year at all last year. Justin did come in here early. He was one of the first guys to get here because he wanted to get himself in shape. He felt like, going through what he went through with the concussion and all that, he had fallen behind. But he's been here, and, he's a quick study. He pays attention to what's going on around him, passes the ball extremely well. But as in terms of a freshman learning our system, he's there. But he's made good adjustments. I think he's had a good person to know. Like, I look where Santi is now, especially defensively, compared to where he was. He's night and day from where he was coming in as a freshman. Justin has a guy that he knows, that's how he's going to have to defend like Santi. He's going to have to do it with knowing he's got to do his work early, toughness, and once he gets that offensively, he'll be fine. But it's the defensive end that, going back to, Rob, your question about those younger guys, understanding that at this level you have to defend, and they haven't gotten that to the point yet where they need to be.
Have you seen during the spring and the summer from him the reasons you went after him?
Yeah, again, he's another player that he fits us perfectly. I mean, everything that we're about, he's about. Hard worker, very, very unselfish, wants to be a part of it, and I'm excited about his future because he's going to put the time in and do the things he needs to do. And like I said, he does a lot, so many good things on the offensive end. But I would say this right now, as a team, we've all got to continue to get better defensively.
What are some of those things that he's known for his shooting, but what are some of the things that you've seen him do offensively?
He can pass the ball, moves well without the ball. He knows how to utilize screens. He's gotten quicker with that. He's gotten even more consistent with his shot. But during the summer, while Kennedy was away and Zakai hadn't got here yet, Santi was at the point, but Santi was away with his national team too. So both Justin and VJ had to run some of the point for us when we were getting into 5-on-5, and I think that helped both of those guys. And I think, but he has shown that. But he's learning a new system too. He really is, and but he is an excellent passer. He sees the floor. He sees right through that net.
Coach Zakai's an unusual situation. Got here late, wasn't here in the summer. Is he somebody you think can help you this year? How's he acclimated?
He's been as impressive as anyone I've ever seen. The difference in he and Santi, Santi walked in and had to play. Zakai, what he's been able to do in such a short period of time coming in, like you'll see him practice today, you would not think that he had missed that much of the summer, or he missed, I think, a week and a half of school when it started, didn't he? Something like that. And you'll see today he picks up things. He's quick, he's fast, he's elusive, and he's still learning the system too. But it's been good for, I think, Kennedy and Santi. It's been good for all three of those guys because they're sharing the point. Santi knows it better. Santi knows has a little more pace with it, but both of those guys they bring a speed and quickness to us that we haven't had in a couple years.
Josiah seemed to play more forward as the season went on last year. Is that something that we could see more of this year, or is it just going to depend on matchups, foul trouble?
I'll say the same thing about Joe. I've always said he is without question the most versatile guy that we have. He'll play. He could play 1 through 5. He knows the system that well. He pretty much has done that since he's been here. How much he'll play at the 4, 3, we really haven't thought a lot about it yet. Will we have a team, a group that when he is there? Absolutely, because he is a mismatch nightmare when he's at that spot. He's already proven he can do it when the lights come on, shooting the ball, rebounding the ball. So he's proven that. But how much he plays there will probably be determined really by how quickly and consistent that Olivier and Brandon and Jonas and Urush, they will probably determine how much and where he plays at that spot.
Are you looking forward to going back to Texas?
Emma, I've said I've got great respect for University of Texas, and I've got so many wonderful friends and people back there. In the past, I've never really wanted to do it because I just didn't want to go back, and it's about me and 17 great years. I really loved it. ESPN's been asking for that, to be quite honest, with the challenge, and now with them closing the arena, an arena where we spent 17 years and certainly great memories there, and talking to some of our former players there who's asked that we would come back and be a part of the last year of that building. And I've said it before, the fact that my grandkids are back there and my grandson's birthday right around that. And, I know Chris Beard, two of my former assistants are now on his staff. And I just felt at this point in time there were a lot of things. I still don't want it to be about me coming back. I really don't. I know it will be something to that. But the fact is where our program is, where their program is, and now that they're coming into the league, it makes us look like we were smart enough to get a jump on what it's going to be like going to Austin, So will it be a tough game? It will be because, Coach Beard and his staff, they're terrific basketball coaches. They do a great job. Do I expect the arena to be a full house? I do, which, again, will be great for our guys. But, we would have gone through some of that prior to that because of it comes in the middle of the SEC season. But again, this is the last year of the Frank Irwin Center, and then they'll go into the new building. Chris Del Conte, the AD, is already trying to hit me up about coming back and opening the gym up, but that's another talk. They'd have to make that well worth their while.
He's trying to make you give a donation?
No, he would be giving the donation. That donation would be coming this way to this university.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Tried to monitor your thing as much as I could. I pushed in and tried to move it back and forth.